My ex and I got divorced when our daughter Emma was a few months old. At first she had primary custody and I had Emma every weekend. When Emma was 9 she told us she wants to spend more time with me and we decided to have her every other week. When she turned 10 she told us that she thinks spending the weekend with a parent was better but she wants to spend the weekends with her mom and be with me the rest of the time. After that she told us that this is too tiring for her and she wants to go there every other weekend. A year ago she decided that she wants to go there once a month, now she is telling me that she doesn't want to go there at all. I told her that can't happen and she has to go see her mom. We got into an argument and I got angry and told her unless she goes to see her mom I'm going back to our original custody agreement and she has to live with her mom. She called me an asshole but went to her mom's home and now she won't answer my call. My grandma was a wonderful baker and had a secret cake recipe that she had created herself. It used some very uncommon spice combinations in the cake and frosting that produced a very unique but delicious cake. She would always make it for our big family gatherings, and it was always the most popular dessert. When she got sick a couple years ago, she decided to share the recipe so that it wouldn't die with her, and offered to give it to any of her kids or grandkids who wanted it. I was the only one who asked for it before she died. I don't know why no one else did, as there were several other bakers in the family. After she passed, I took over bringing the cake to family gatherings, and everyone was happy to still be able to enjoy it. I also started making cakes for friends' family, and then for others by word of mouth to make some extra cash on the side. My business was really starting to pick up around the time the pandemic hit, as people who'd had my cakes recommended me to their own friends and family. It soon became too much to keep up with in my tiny home kitchen. So I reached out to a friend who had a catering business with a professional kitchen. Since her business took a big hit with COVID, I made a deal to use her kitchen to make my cakes and help supplement the takeout business she started to get by. My cousin, Jane, recently found out that Grandma's recipe was one of my best sellers, and said that I had no right to sell out Grandma's recipe, especially after keeping it all to myself. She had asked for it late last year, but I said no. I told her that she had the chance to get it from Grandma before she died, and didn't seem to care enough to bother them. Since Jane had lost her job she had decided to try selling cakes too, which I think is why she had asked for the recipe. Unfortunately for her, it's not going well. The reviews on her cakes have not been good, and no one has been recommending her. Jane said that the only reason my business was doing well because of Grandma's cake, which she wanted to sell too, and my access to a professional kitchen. The kitchen does help with being able to work on multiple orders at once, but my business is doing well because I actually make good cakes. Jane is a good cook, but not a good baker. She doesn't follow measurements properly, and instead does everything to taste, which works for cooking, but not baking. Using too much or too little of any ingredients like flour, eggs or butter, or even their starting temperature will not give you the result you want. Jane is demanding that I either stop selling Grandma's cake, or teach her the recipe so she can too. I refused, and said she was a hypocrite for wanting to sell the cake herself after getting angry at me for doing so. When she gave me the recipe, Grandma said that her biggest regret was never opening a bakery like she had dreamed, my ultimate dream now too. I think she'd love so many people enjoying her cake. Am I the asshole? So I am part of a group of friends. I'm in my early 30s and a woman. We've all known each other for varying amounts of time. Some people are closer than others. We get all together every month, but obviously some people see each other more often. We normally go for drinks or dinner. One friend, Kelly, I am not really close to. I normally see her as part of the big group. Kelly just had a baby about 7 months ago and seems to be struggling as her husband works long hours. She hasn't come out with all of us, but I've still seen her once in a while. I've started to pull back a bit from my friendship with Kelly, and a few others have as well. Anytime we've gone over there, I live close to her and another friend. She sort of treats us like unpaid labor but says this is just part of being friends. When I'm there she'll ask one of us to hold the baby or do dishes or run a load of laundry. I have enough of all this to do on my own, minus the baby, so I kind of get a little pissed off going over to someone's house and doing chores every single time. I don't mind helping out, but it's a little crazy. She asked to borrow something of mine yesterday and I went over to drop it off. While I was there, she asked if I wouldn't mind mopping the kitchen for her. I told her I was in a hurry and she got a bit huffy. She told me that raising a child was hard and she needed her village to step up and help her. I kind of had enough and told her that I didn't want to be part of her village. This really set her off and I walked out the door and haven't spoken to her. Am I the asshole? Some of my friends are saying that yeah, I should have just kept my distance instead of saying anything. I think I might be the asshole because I was harsher than I needed to be to someone who was clearly having a rough time. I have been keto for the last 2 years. I tried it because I was always feeling bloated and crappy after eating and was struggling to lose weight. Keto really helped with my IBS and other gastro symptoms and I've lost some weight and am keeping it off. My brother married my sister-in-law last year. Sister-in-law and I have always been cordial and she's a nice lady, but we haven't gotten close yet. I'm really close to my brother, so I see him often and usually have lunch or dinner together at least once a week. Sister-in-law eats a ton of fast food and pasta and generally unhealthy stuff, but works out a lot so manages to stay thin. She doesn't have the most mature palate, but bro is pretty open-minded and had tried and liked keto food with me. She and my brother know I'm keto and sister-in-law sometimes makes fun of me for it and tells me I should just eat some pasta a lot and just work out like she does. Usually it's just a few joking sort of comments every now and then and she's not rude about it, so I've let it slide. Yesterday I invited her and brother to my place for dinner. I asked him and sister-in-law if they had any preferences or ideas for what to have for dinner. My brother said anything was fine and they were excited for my cooking. I made a tasty keto meal and tried to make stuff I thought sister-in-law would like too. I did bacon-wrapped sausages as a main, one of my favorites, and then a side of cauliflower rice with broccoli and bacon. They came over and my sister-in-law was acting a little strange as I brought out the food and asked, jokingly, where the bread was, but everything was going fine. We were partway through the meal when my brother asked what everything was. I told them and my sister-in-law got upset, saying that I tricked them with fake rice, and that I was being sneaky and unreasonable and trying to force keto on her. She refused to eat with us after that and ordered some fast food takeout. I was a little offended and then I suggested to my brother afterwards that maybe we could just do a meal the two of us, and sister-in-law overheard and accused me of trying to force others to do keto and leaving her out. And why couldn't I just make real rice or pasta like a normal person, and that I should have known better than to make my weird food for other people. I didn't mean to offend my sister-in-law. I guess I should have known and tried to make some carb, but the food was really tasty and I didn't think I was forcing anyone. So sanity check here, am I the asshole?